we're learning beings. We're not like instinctual animals. And so everything we do is learned behavior. So if we're learning, we need to continue to learn. As Moshe, who, when I got turned on to the work, and it was past his life, but there was a need for me to find another pathway, not of resistance, pushing into resistance, no pain, no gain. I needed to find another option. And so I was willing to try anything, because I was trying everything to free me from feeling stuck. And I study a lot. I've studied a lot before I came into Feldenkrais that informed me. Everybody that comes into Feldenkrais, whether you come very young, which is our predecessors, most of them came really young, and now older generations are coming in because they need support. They need to keep learning how to do things, not as much the what. Sometimes the what needs to change, but the how needs to shift to the way Moshe spoke about when we were infants. This is what he went back to. How do we learn before our brain can even cognate what we're doing? We follow sensations. And I thought this quote from Carl Jung. He said, the first 40 years of your life, you're researching. It takes until you're 40, 4 decades of your life, till you've really come into yourself. And then I went, oh my gosh, we have 40 years of conditioned behavior, learned, hardwired into us. Some of it is great. In fact, I share with my students and clients, these hardwired patterns that wired into our nervous system, they were absolutely perfect when they came in. They were perfect. But then we so habituated to them, we stopped comparing. And we kept using that hardwired pattern over and over and over again. And when it was perfect, it's still perfect. But when it's not perfect, it's interfering. And anything that creates more resistance, look, life is full of it. And sometimes you really have to push into resistance. It's survival. But when you do that as an habituation of how you live your life, you create more heat, friction, irritation. And over time, unaddressed, that irritation becomes tissue deterioration. And that tissue deterioration, over decades of being unconscious, tuning it out, dissociating from not only maybe what you're doing, but how you're doing it, becomes a pathology. And Moshe used to say, if we could help a person learn before that pathology has so set up that now the structure needs to be addressed. And thank God for a medical model. There's so much that they can do. But I say, because I work with people with a lot of surgical interventions, and God bless for them. But in order for them to have come to that surgical intervention, most are repetitive strain, hardwired patterns that wore down the structure because we didn't feel skeletal support. We felt muscular work of pushing into resistance. So those compensatory patterns that developed in us, they don't go away if a surgery occurred. The brain has to relearn that you have options. And that's something that Feldenkrais is so spectacular with.